I know what you're thinking, wowee, a skeleton build, how original, but bear with me, this isn't actually a skeleton build that just 4 links a Spectre setup in its gloves for some cool guy points. This is actually a Spectre setup that uses a 4-link setup with skeletons to supplement its single target, because for the last few leagues, Spectres have been a bit sad when it comes to single target. And skeletons, more specifically skeleton mages, can actually do decent single target even on a simple 4-link. So what I did is I grabbed what I consider to be the best Spectre nowadays by a long shot, that being the Mindweave Sentinel, which will occasionally spawn in a synthesized map, and I ramped up their clear as much as I could, so it actually feels good to run around with them, and once I get to the boss, I will just throw a bunch of skeletons at it and let them take care of it. So now I will leave you with a short showcase of some scuffed bossing single target, and if you don't care about that and you just want to see the setup, the gems, the links, the items, the passive tree, there are timestamps in the video description, and the video itself should be stamped as well if YouTube didn't mess it up. I messed this one up, by the way, because I haven't fought Cyrus in a while, but if you're not a potato, you should have no trouble taking the boss down, because it's not the build's fault, I was just being a derp. So here's the setup. It's nothing too overly special. We have a +2 minion wand with a trigger, and we socket in Desecrate, Flesh of Footing, and Life Tap. Then we have an extra skeleton plus level of socketed minion gems helmet, into which we will socket Val Summon Skeletons with Spell Echo, minion damage, and elemental focus. We're also running Ashes of the Stars with Anointed Charisma to fit in all the auras. Then we have a +2 minimum Frenzy and Power Charge shield, which we will actually give to our minions via Necromantic Aegis, and into the shield we will socket Assassin's Mark, Flame Dash, and Convocation. Next on the menu we have Boots, where you want to get some life, movement, speed, and res, and ideally plus level of all race Spectre gems, and into them we socket Enlighten, Discipline, Defiance Banner, and Vitality. For the belt you want to get some life and res on a Stygian Vice. For the gloves you want to get life and res and probably some dexterity in there, because you're going to be lacking that, and you want to get the implicit. While a Pinnacle Atlas boss is in your presence, minions deal a crap ton of extra damage. This one is very easy to get, so why not use it? And the gems here are Enlighten, Tempest Shield, Purity of Elements, and Determination. Then for the rings, you just want to get life and res, and finally we have the body armor, which is Fleshcrafter. This converts your minions' life into energy shield based on their chaos resistance, and while they have energy shield, they ignore enemy elemental resistances, so they basically do consistent damage no matter what kind of a mob they're fighting. And into this we are of course going to socket our Spectre, so we have Race Spectre, followed by Pierce, Spell Echo, minion damage, crit damage, and finally GMP. Now if you really want like maximum single target, you want to take out GMP and put in something like Hypothermia or Ice Bite. The passive tree is pretty standard minion stuff. You just pick up all the minion nodes, and on your way to them you pick up all the life and jewel socket. You want to socket an anatomical knowledge jewel right next to the witch start, which is going to give you 26 flat maximum life and 8% increased maximum life, which is very nice for a single jewel socket. And then you of course want to socket Dead Reckoning up here so that you get skeleton mages rather than normal melee skeletons. You really don't want to use normal skeletons here because they don't benefit from Fleshcrafter since they do fizz damage. Next important thing here is Necro Aegis, which gives your shield to your minions, but you're still technically holding a shield, so we're still gonna pick up Glancing Blows and get some block via Tempest Shield and few block nodes on the tree. This is mostly here to protect us from elemental damage, since we don't really get a ton of attack block. So it's kind of like scuffed spell suppression, I suppose. Next up, we pick up Divine Shield for some, mild energy shield regeneration, and it's also important to go through the Reservation Efficiency node into Sovereignty and then pick up the Mana Reservation Efficiency from there. You of course want to pick up Death Attunement as well, so that you get an extra Spectre and Skeleton, and then the rest just goes into Cluster Jewels. So we have two large minion damage ones, and you want to roll things like Feasting Fiends, Vicious Bite, and Renewal. You would ideally want to get all three and pick up all three of them, but I'm in SSF and rolling all three is very difficult at the moment. Then into one of the large minion clusters, we socket two small Chaos Resistance clusters that are rolled with Blessed for some life, mana, and Chaos Resistance. This helps against Chaos damage quite a bit. And into the second one, we put two medium minion life clusters, which are rolled with Feasting Fiends and Renewal. But you also want to get at least one Dread March. This is here specifically to give your skeletons some chaos resistance, so they get energy shield even if they're far away from you and they don't benefit from your discipline. It doesn't matter for the specters because they stay close to you and they have their own energy shield buffer. And finally, into these two medium clusters, we socket a Quickening and a Fortress Covenant. This way you don't have to worry about the negative area around them because it doesn't activate in a cluster jewel. Now I'm not gonna lie, the specters are a massive pain in the rectum to get, because even if they do spawn, which doesn't happen every time, they only spawn occasionally, there's only gonna be a handful of them in the map. From what I've seen personally, there's like 2, maybe 3 rares, and that's it. Plus, they are a synthesized mob, so once you kill them, you only have about a second or two to raise them before their body turns to dust and you can't do it anymore. So the best way of doing things is to try and single them out because they are usually rare and they are tankier than the small carpets that come with them. Then you run in, try not to shatter them with like your cold specters or whatever, and as soon as they die, you spam raise spectre on that area and hopefully you'll get it just like I did in the video right now. Oh yeah, and blimey, I almost forgot about the Ascendancy. So we go Mindless Aggression for the juicy stats, Unnatural Strength for the +2 level of minion gems, Commander of Darkness for the attack, cast speed, damage, and Elires, and finally we actually go Essence Glutton for some energy shield regen for us and our minions. Now if you feel like the build is too squishy and you would rather have some block via Bone Offering, you don't of course have to run with Essence Glutton, though Essence Glutton is actually fairly defensive as well because it's going to regenerate your energy shield, and you can go with Mistress of Sacrifice and use Bone Offering, though one thing to bear in mind here is that you will lose quite a bit of zoom when it comes to clear. Now why would I make this build instead of just making a pure Scaly Mage setup? Wouldn't that make more sense? Just go full meme damage and blow everything up. Well, it's actually quite simple. I don't like pure Scaly Mage builds. It doesn't feel like you're playing a minion build at all. It's more like you're playing a scuffed totem build that you got from Wish. You know what I mean? Mom, can we get a totem build? We have a totem build at home. The totem build at home. I just wanted to play specters once again, and if that means I have to use skeletons to do single target, that's fine. The build feels like an actual minion build most of the time. It's just that, it's a bit totemy once you get to the boss. But if that means I can actually play a Spectre build and have fun with it, that's okay with me. Spectres are by far my favorite minions, even now in their massively nerfed state. Oh yeah, also, you don't have to worry about the carpet's survival at all. They have a massive health multiplier. They essentially have the HP of a Crush Claw, okay? So they're not gonna be dying anytime soon. But anyway, I think I've been rambling for long enough, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and you will maybe try this build out, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.